I came across this story yesterday. I had meant to do it yesterday, but being that it was the last day of school, I was only able to do one video. But this story is very similar to the story about Sheila Salam, who I also did a video on how she was found also in uh, the river or whatever, and she was fully clothed, and they tried to chalk it up as a suicide, which they're also trying to chalk his death as a suicide. And I just, if anyone believes that, then you are playing into their narrative, basically. Because what they want you to believe is that these prosecutors are killing themselves, and they're trying to play up to a narrative that, successful black people cannot handle success well. That once you get an amount of success, you kill yourself. They're trying to play it off like that. But I don't think that's the case. I feel like with the same thing with Sheila Salam, who was a just judge, who was fair, and this man is also fair, they don't want any black prosecutors or judges because they hand out fair sentences, unlike white prosecutors and judges who hand out sentences based on the person's ethnicity. Now, I'm going to have people in the comments, trying to say, oh, it has nothing to do with their bullshit. It has everything to do with race. Um, So it says police in Miami have announced the discovery of the body of federal prosecutor Beranton J Whisenant Jr., 37, on Hollywood Beach on Wednesday at 4:30 a.m. According to police, Whisenant was very well dressed when he was found, wearing a business shirt and black pants. In addition, all of his personal information was still on his body. That leads me to believe that this was maybe, a mugging gone wrong, though none of his things were taken. It also leads me to believe that it could possibly be someone that he prosecuted, and it could have been their family member. It could have been a number of people. A lot of prosecutors and judges have enemies. Anybody that they sentence to jail time or convict of a crime, that's automatically going to be their enemy, as well as their family members, their friends, or anyone who was close to them. But the fact that he was wearing a business shirt and black pants, and they're trying to say, he had a gunshot wound to the head, that it could possibly have been suicide. In a suit? Bullshit. Upon examining the corpse, it was discovered that he had significant head injuries consistent with a possible gunshot wound. However, it has not been determined if his death was a suicide or murder. First of all, why would he go out into the water and shoot himself? Now, if he did that, the gun would have washed up onto the shore as well, just like his body did. But they haven't found a gun. So, suicide? No, I highly doubt that. Wiseman works for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Miami in its Major Crimes Unit, and the following statement was released. The U.S. Attorney's Office family is deeply saddened by his death. He was a wonderful lawyer and great colleague. We will miss him deeply. Our thoughts and prayers are with his friends and family. One witness, identified as Bill Rennick, stated to media, when the tide came in, he obviously was caught in the surf and tumbling. About a 35-year-old African American man, very well dressed, wearing a sort of casual business shirt, black pants, and all of his personal effects were on him, and that's what we found unusual. Which is what I'm saying, like, that's why they're trying to make it look like a suicide, because his wallet and things were still on him. No, 9 times out of 10, yes, if someone is being mugged or robbed and they're killed, their things are going to be taken. But just because his wallet wasn't taken doesn't mean anything. It could have been something that happened quickly. It could have been he was killed beforehand and dumped into the water. So there's a lot of factors that go into this, but they automatically want to write it off as a suicide because he's black, and they don't want to investigate what actually happened because of what they might find out, which I find is pretty fucked up anyway. Wiseman was a married father of 3 children and was also an adjunct instructor at the University of Miami paralegal program. His death comes a month after the body of New York State Court of Appeals Judge Sheila Abdus-Salam, 65, was discovered fully clothed floating in the Hudson River in New York City on Wednesday, April 12, 2017. Abdus-Salam was the first African American woman and Muslim to serve on the New York State Court of Appeals. Her death was later ruled a suicide. See, that's what I'm saying. This does not make any kind of sense. You know, both of them are fully clothed, wearing nice clothing, and you want to rule out both of them as a suicide. And that's the thing, when it comes to black deaths, they want it to be an open and shut case because they don't feel like it's necessary to go into a full-on investigation because our lives aren't worth a full-on investigation. They're not worth the man hours. They're not worth the tax dollars. They're not worth any of that. But let it be a white person, they're going to go into an investigation for days, weeks, months, even years, as long as it takes to find out what actually happened. And people want to say that this is not about race. It is all about race. All of it. It is always about race, especially when you have black people in these kinds of positions and you want to sit here and rule it a suicide because they couldn't handle, all the money they have, or they couldn't handle the stress of the job, or they couldn't handle, having enemies against them. That's what they want to rule it as. That's why they want to rule it as a suicide, because it's easier to rule it as a suicide so they don't have to investigate what really happened. Because they don't care what really happened. That's one less black person, one less judge, one less prosecutor that they have to worry about incarcerating white people. And this is my narrative, this is my opinion, and I really do not care how anyone else feels about it. This is what it is. You can call it racist, you can call it whatever, but the point is, this is how it is in America. I'm not sure about other countries. I know in the UK it's very similar. Their justice system is very similar to ours. That's just what it is. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you in the next video.